Welcome to the Icon Show, where we go beyond the brand and into the real stories. I'm your host, Jordan Lynae, co-founder of Eight Figure Icons, a company built for entrepreneurs who really know their story is bigger than the highlight reels. Here on the Icon Show, we sit down with bold founders, visionaries, and leaders who didn't just build businesses. They became the person capable of holding what they built. We talk about what nearly broke them, what reshaped them, and what it actually took to rise. So if you're building with purpose, leading with heart, and ready for conversations that go deeper than surface level, you're in the right room. And today's guest, we are so excited to have on the show, Theresa. She helps people meet change as a portal for evolution. With over 15 years of experience, and she guides clients through the deeper levels of personal change, exploring the belief, the nervous system, patterns, and identity stories that quietly shape how we live, love, and lead. Her approach blends hypnosis, energy based tools. Theresa's work isn't about really fixing, it's about remembering what's already whole. She is known for her calm clarity, her ability to name truth without judgment, and her talent for holding space where transformation unfolds naturally beneath the noise is beyond the surface. We are so excited and so honored to have her here with us today. My gosh, I'm so excited.
It is such a pleasure to be here with you. It really is.
Oh my gosh. And Theresa, I have known Theresa for 5 years, and this woman, inspiration, powerful, just words, I can't even express words on how much this woman has touched my life and has touched so many incredible people's lives all across the world. So just have to add that in because I am so honored and I just love all that you do.
That is just the most beautiful introduction I could ever have wished for. Thank you so, so much.
Yes, yes. So let's get in. I
Okay.
would love to hear and dive deep into what got you started. What was the major life change that you walked through, and how did it really shift your path into becoming an entrepreneur?
Okay. It's actually a really big question. So I'll try and just give you the highlight reel,
We would love
perhaps.
to hear it all.
It actually started with my daughter. So she struggled through school. She was bullied all 12 years of her
Mm.
schooling by an iteration of the same group of girls. And while she was going through the thick of all of this, I was struggling with the relationship with my mother and struggling with my marriage starting to change. And I was needing to go and get support for what I was experiencing when her world fell apart. And I made a very clear decision, which was that I would not take her to mainstream therapy. I would take her to a different route. Her father's family are a very strong medical background and believed very much in that. But that came with stories and with narratives, which meant that she was locked into family patterning and that others' experience, therefore, would be her experience. And I didn't want her to have those kinds of limitations on her healing and on how she could rebuild her own life. So I chose to step outside of that. And that was pivotal because that allowed me to then go, well, if I'm going to hold this space for my daughter, I need to hold this space for me in a whole other way. So I started learning all of the tools and the modalities that had supported me in the relationship with my mum and then with my husband at the time. I wanted to learn. I had been doing, I was that girl at school everyone told their problem to. I was the friend everyone sat down with a glass of wine and told me their problem. I was that person. So
Yes.
what I really did was
Just
formalize what I
like
had been
me.
doing informally, right?
Yes, yes.
And then when my marriage ended, I had been out of the workforce for a very, very long time. So it was natural to actually go into what I was doing naturally. It sounds a little weird to say it because I mean, I have a bachelor's degree. I went to university, I did all this stuff. I worked in law firms and did all this. But that didn't feel authentic. That didn't feel a viable option to me. What felt viable was me listening to me and going, no, no, this is my purpose. This is what I'm actually here to do. And this is where I need to put all of my eggs. So all my
Mm.
eggs went into the basket of me, and I just didn't look back from then. So that's the highlight reel of that.
Let's give it up for Theresa. How incredible. So, how did that season really shift and impact your identity? Not just as a business owner, but as a human. So, when you kind of went into
Mm.
the journey of becoming the entrepreneur.
Well, it's interesting that you say identity, because that's really what it's all about. And the woman I had been identifying as was an identity that had been given to me. And it was, you're born, you're a girl, it's a generational thing as well with my parents. This is what's expected of you. This is therefore the path you will go down. And there are roles that go with all of that. And then
Yeah.
there's family dynamics, which is the role of the dutiful daughter, and I, had to be very useful. And that's how I received a lot of value within my family. So there's some trauma patterning that goes in behind all of that. But it really comes down to identity. So when my world changed, it turned on its axis. I had to sit down and look at who I was and what did that actually mean and what did I want that to look like moving forward. So I have been divorced for 12 years now, and it's been 12 years of iterations of identification. So the woman I identified with when I got divorced is not the same woman I identify as now. It's a natural growth. There are natural cycles within our identity, and there's a really strong link with that in terms of our own natural cycles in life and how that plays out in our business lives. So being an entrepreneur is so complex as a woman, because we bring all of us and all of our cycles to every single thing that we do. So my business needed to be flexible enough to hold my cycles. And that's not just hormonal, normal, womanly cycles. It's also my emotional cycles, my relational cycles, my relationship cycles. It had to hold everything. So I had to build a business foundation that allowed me to very naturally but organically go through stages of expansion over and over again. And I stopped looking at it as moving up the ladder and more that I'll miss something if I just go in a narrow band upwards. I need to go sideways. I need to find out who I am at every level before I move up, because I want all of me to move up, not just the little narrow part I'd recognized. Does that make sense?
Just dropping all the golden nuggets. My So beautiful. Yes. If you want to go a little deeper on kind of going a little bit more of the sideways, you were going, I love that.
Okay. Well, I think as women, we tend to work within frameworks that have been given to us. We've
Mm.
inherited frameworks, whether that, we want to label that as patriarchal frameworks or generational frameworks or gender frameworks, whatever they are. And so when we sort of sit on the rung on our ladder, we are within a framework. But often we don't explore the limits of that framework, and there is a lot to understand about who we are, how we show up, and how we activate ourselves within any particular rung within the framework. Now, I'm saying we're all within this framework because to some extent we are, but we
Yes.
also reach different points where we want to step outside of that framework we've been given or inherited, and we want to create our own frameworks. And that's one of the benefits of the sideways expansion, because we explore more of who we are, what our capacity is at every level. It's like if we're showing up on a particular rung on the ladder and we're, I don't know, the color orange, well, how orange can I be?
Mhm.
What nuances of orange have I been afraid to live and look at and acknowledge? And there's so many shades of orange. Let me explore all the shades, all the different ways I can express orange. And then sometimes we will come up and we will actually hit the edges of that framework. And that's where we get friction, and it's a tension point. And then hopefully we look at a particular tension point and go, it's containing me. It's not holding expansion anymore. It's containing me. And then we want to move beyond that framework. And that's when we start going, well, maybe the problem isn't me, it's the framework. And we'll start changing what we believe and tell ourselves is actually allowable for us to achieve. And so the framework itself starts to change. When that happens, we start to move up another rung, but we take that loss of framework with us. And then we start going, okay, well, I've come back into a different kind of framework. What color is this one? Oh, well, this one's, I don't know, magenta. Right. What are all the shades of magenta? What can I find out? What can I learn? How can I explore it till we come up against those edges again? And then we go, okay, well, this framework is containing. It's not holding potential anymore. Let's change the framework. So when we are women and we're in business, we're continually in different iterations of frameworks. So who are we? How much are we? How much are we willing to express at each rung of the ladder before that framework becomes a container and not potential?
Gosh, I love your concept on all of that. It's make sure to rewatch this and rewatch it and rewatch it because what you just shared there is so powerful. My gosh.
Yeah. Look, and the thing is that, the majority of my clients are women, but I work with men as well. And men also are within these frameworks, right?
Mm,
And they've been given a very different structure to work within, which is so competitive. And it's designed to pit them against each other. So there's this constant pushing and striving. And women come into that kind of framework going, well, if we want to succeed in that framework, we have to be like this as well. And it doesn't work for women that way. We're not designed to be competitive. We're designed to be collaborative. We're designed to be expansive and inclusive and, invite all the stuff into the space. And then we get to play with that. Men are designed a little bit differently because of patriarchal systems that have been put, all the whole thing. We don't need to go into that. So,
we
right.
could go on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but this is the thing, when we start looking at this as frameworks that we have been given, we have not asked for, what part of us just goes along with that? Well, that's
Mm,
the status quo. That's the existing framework. If I'm to succeed, I have to show up a particular way. And I probably should just stay on that narrow ladder and do what I'm told and show up in a way that they will see me. But when we start getting off the ladder and going sideways, and we're starting to change frameworks and create our own frameworks, our visibility completely changes. And the people who are able to see us are generally not people on that little narrow ladder, right? Because they've been trained to only see people like them on the ladder. So we then attract people who are also doing this sort of expansion.
gosh, so huge. And talking about the visibility and being able to expand the visibility beyond uh, once we cut up off of that ladder. So incredible.
Yeah.
During that whole season of really stepping into the identity, we kind of touched on that. What really kept you going when you felt like giving up? Just
It's
as being an entrepreneur with stepping into this.
It's really simple, and I don't want to sound glib about this at all, but I always had this unshakable belief that I was here for more. And it's as though my whole life was series of tension points that were a bit like sandpaper,
Mhm.
and I'd come up against that rough surface and go, this can't be the edge of it. This doesn't feel good. And when I would drill down on it and sort of go down rabbit holes, it always came back to this almost a question, really, that there must be more.
Mm,
Surely there must be more. I feel and experience this world so dynamically, so deeply, and so expansively. This one little narrow ladder can't possibly be all that there is for me. So when we kind of come back into identity, it's, well, if I'm the woman who really believes that there must be more, what does that mean about me? And what actions would I take? And what beliefs do I need to unravel and dismantle to embody the woman that lives with
mm,
more? So this is the iteration of identity over the years. It's, okay, well, I've dismantled these beliefs. What does that now mean about me? What do I now believe about myself? And then I'd live like that. But then I'm up against sandpaper again. So what about this no longer holds true? So it's sort of an evolutionary journey in terms of identification. And that translates into my business, that my business kept going through iterations of identity over and over again. When I think back to my very first website, that was so scary to, like, wow, did it on my own on the lounge in the corner under the
I
lamp
need
at
to
night
see
time,
that.
yeah, all of that. And I look at where I am now, I'm going like the woman today, like wouldn't even recognize that woman where I
Mm,
started. The evolution of me and how solidly I sit in the belief of what I do, the changes I can hold space for, that changes everything, right?
yes. 100 and 1,000,000%. Oh my gosh. So good.
Does that answer the question? Did I actually
Yeah.
answer it?
It's always looking back at the person, not so much looking back on the person, but 5 years ago and
Mm,
look at yourself now and celebrating
absolutely.
those small
Absolutely.
wins.
There is value in looking back and just seeing how far
Yeah.
we've come,
Yes.
how far we've evolved, what we've stepped out of and what we've stepped into, because that's part of the embodiment of that evolution, to actually sit and go, wow, yeah, I used to do that, but wow, I do this now and I show up with this energy now. There's value in that, but there's also value in future tracking. Well, this is who I am now. And who do I want to be in another 5 years? What's that woman doing? If I
Amen.
could do this much in these five, my God, what's possible for me in these 5 years yet to come? And then it's about taking baby steps into stepping into that iteration that hasn't yet arrived.
Mm,
And this is about, when you have a piece of paper and you draw a line with two dots on the end, normally we would want to move linearly across that page from dot to
on
dot,
me.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. But what if we just folded the page and stuck the pen right through and connected those dots in one go? When we future track, that's what we're kind of doing. We're kind of folding the paper. We're folding space and time to bring that future version closer to here. The more we do that, the more we connect with that version of us, the more we feel who she is, the more we start to think like she thinks. And that means the decisions and the choices that we make are more like her. So we're literally working with space and time to bring evolution into the now moment.
That concept right there is the her, the
Yeah.
future her. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I know.
I would just, yes, get into, could listen to you forever. Just your concept and yeah,
I know. But this is a concept I know you relate to, right?
yes.
Which is who are you stepping into? And who is it that you want to be that you're not yet holding the energy of, the resonance of, the psyche of, the emotional body of? So I know that you get that. But
Mhm.
it's the work in folding the paper, right? That's where the work is to bring the dream, the vision into the now moment, to make it real and to anchor it here and now. And again, I know you know all about that work.
Yes, yes, yes. The concept of
Mm.
the eight-figure icons is the future version self, and so
Yes.
everything you're saying, icon,
It
icon.
is. It is, but even just the concept of embodying icon as
Mhm.
possible for someone. The people who listen to this and the women who are coming to work with you, are they embodying icon? It's a great as a concept. It's a great idea. Looks great on paper, looks brilliant on social media. But can they touch it? Can they feel it?
Mm,
Is it part of the fabric of their being?
mm.
And that's the folding of the paper. That's bringing that into the now moment. And that's what you do.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
I feel like I'm the Jordan cheer
Like, I
squad.
know, you gotta kind of take your hat and just throw your hat because that's in all of the golden nuggets right there. Make sure to listen back to everything that Theresa is saying. And also want to add in, she's been a mentor of mine for, we were talking about it the other day. It's been five,
5 Yeah.
So we've walked in a journey together of the unfolding of all the things. So really stepping into the feminine and the masculine, unmasking,
Mm.
go, 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 and more into the
Mm.
flow, 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 and been a big part of the journey. So just listening and having you on the show is just I just love hearing everything. What is something that you wished more entrepreneurs would really talk about that you don't hear enough of?
For me, that's what I hear a lot of my clients talk about is the push for wealth, the push for money, the push for abundance. And when we sort of map that, it's if I chase money, if I focus on the money, what is it that I need to do to get that? And that's sort of their little process because the focus is on the wealth. But if we flip it and we go, well, actually, if my focus is on service, if my focus is on love, if my focus is following my passion, if my focus is making a difference in people's lives and in the world. Money naturally flows from purpose and passion. And when we flip it to following purpose and passion, allowing money to be a natural flow and effect of that, it's like a pebble in a pond. We put in love into the pond and the ripples go out, and what we get back is wealth. We get visibility, we get connection, we get community. If we just drop in, I want money, the ripples that come back are a little bit different, right? So if we flip this model to actually following the passion, knowing that money has no choice but to come as a result of that, our energy system shifts into a powerful flow mode, which means we activate our natural alignment with universal abundance and wealth. We don't have to chase it. We don't have to call it in. We follow our passion. It has to come. It's part of the universal laws. God made us to be in a flow state, not in a push force struggle survival state, right?
Mhm.
So which one are we in? Which framework are we living in that we need to step outside of? And often it's this masculine patriarchal, we have to chase the dollar. But the feminine is more, no, let me chase the love. Let me chase the experience. Let me chase the connection and the community. Let me chase evolution. Let me chase all these things. Money flows from that. Fabulous. It changes the way we do business. I guess if I had to tell my clients something, is flip the model, right? Stop chasing money. Start chasing what lights you up, right?
Mm.
The thing that you wake up in the morning and you feel, I'm taking a breath and my heart's opening. Follow that. And the money has no choice but to follow. It's universal law of cause and effect. It has to come. We want to trust in the bigger picture to some extent. And again, the competition framework tells us not to trust. It tells us that you only gain through striving, push, and effort. And that's a really masculine, unbalanced masculine state to be in. A more feminine, balanced state is open and receptive. If we can flip it to being open and receptive, trusting that what we need is going to come, it changes everything in our business. We will experience expansion. We will experience up leveling. We will experience more flow of money, connection, community, recognition, visibility, and love than we could ever imagine if we were in a push state. It just doesn't work for women.
Wow.
And it's not that we don't make decisions and we drive things forward. We have both masculine and feminine energy within us. Our masculine holds our inner framework. It allows for us to do all kinds of amazing stuff. We need all of that. It's not passive. By flipping this flow, it's very active, but in a very different way. What it means for our nervous system, though, is that our nervous system isn't fully activated all the time in fight, flight, and freeze. We actually get to sit back and be regulated and just go, well, this is a whole lot easier than anyone ever told me it was supposed to be. So we're still doing stuff. We're still making decisions. We're still changing the world,
And more
but we're doing
love.
it in a way that works naturally for us rather than against us.
Good. How do you define success now after everything that you've walked through?
Success for me means feeling peaceful.
Mm.
I could do a whole bunch of beautiful descriptors for this, but at the end of the day, it's me being at peace with who I am, with my choices in life, being at peace with how I've set up my business, being at peace with, If I want to work late at night, I can. If I want to start late in the morning, I can. It's just at peace with what I've set up to support myself, and peace in the level of trust I have that I am supported and provided for. It's a nervous system state. If I'm not successful, it means that I'm stressed. It means that my nervous system is pinging left, right, and center. I feel ungrounded. I'm concerned. I'm anxious. I'm scared. I'm in fear stories. That's not success, regardless of what the bank account tells me. This is why flipping the flow model helps, right? For me to feel successful and at peace, I have to be following my passion, following my heart. If I'm pushing and struggling in survival, that's not success.
Mm. What is some advice that you would give to someone in the middle of the hard season, survival, the doing, the ungrounded?
Uh, Probably quite a few things, if I'm honest. There's quite a few things. I think there's a model that I give my clients, and it's a triangle model. So if we think at the top of that triangle is our life, whether it's our business or whatever it is that we're focusing on, that's at the top of the triangle. There's a version of us over here who is engaged with that, right? And this is the version of us who can't quite see clearly, who probably has some fear stories, is getting quite emotionally unbalanced about some stuff, has a meltdown every so often, often in the fetal position in the corner crying. There's that version of us. But
Mhm.
over here, there's a different version. And this is the observational us who observes what's going on. So I think there's value in allowing ourselves to take a step into the observational us. Is this making a sense?
Yes.
And allowing ourselves to take a breath and really look at what it is that we're doing. So from the observational position about our life, about our business, about our dreams and our vision, we get to explore the sideways. We get to get curious about the expansion. We get curious about what's possible. What potential haven't we just noticed yet? Because we're in this emotional dynamic, this engaged dynamic, we can't see very far. Our vision is really quite restricted. But when we're in the observational position and we get curious, we start to see other things as possible. When we're in the middle of it, we're here and engaged, and we're in the fear of, oh my God, I need to make money to pay the rent. I've got bills to pay. I need to put food on the table. My partner's lost their job. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like all the pressure. But over here, it's okay. Yeah, that stuff's happening. But if I just take a little step to the side, what else can I see about myself, about what I'm capable of? What possibilities can I see when I step out of that stream of worry and fear? And what do I want to explore out here that can actually help change the situation at the top? So, get curious. Step beyond what you think is currently all that is available. That's a story. We tell ourselves that story over and over when we're in fear. This is what I'm stuck with. This is my reality, locking it down over and over and over. But if we just take a step and go, well, what if there's another narrative? What if there's another way I can show up? And we start to look at our beliefs, and our beliefs are like an elastic band. We'll push and stretch until it reaches the point of greatest tension. And some people will go, no, that really is all there is. And they'll just go back into that band. And other people will get to that point of greatest tension and just go, no, I'm not doing this anymore. There is more. And they'll snap the band. That's when they take a deeper breath in the observational them and go, okay, those beliefs now don't have to define me and limit me. What beliefs do I want to bring in? What else is possible? And they start exploring that sideways expansion. So get curious, take a step to the side. Look at it a little differently. That's my advice.
Observe. Yes. The lean back energy and observe is,
Yeah.
and the grounding, you
Yeah.
touching on the grounding and leaning back and
Yeah.
just reevaluating where you're at in that
Mm.
moment.
It
Just
is. That's all
adding.
of it. It's the I can't see the forest for the trees. Well, get
Mhm.
out of the forest, get out of the trees, come back up on a hill and have a look down, and then you can actually see the whole landscape, not just the trees that are right in front of you. And that's what the step does. It's a shift in perspective. so that you step out of the pain and the fear and the struggle and survival and go, okay, I know that's over there. I can go back into the trees if I want to, but from here, let me just see what else is around. And it takes some effort to make that first step, a little step up the hill, and then maybe just another step up the hill, and maybe one more until they go, oh, I can see maybe the forest wasn't as big as I thought. And look, there's the ocean on the other side. And oh, look, there's a nice little house on that other hill. Let me go visit them. Whatever it is, right? But it's a perspective shift because we get locked down in our view when we're in fear and survival. So that little shift just helps shift that perspective. So get
Mm.
curious. What else is there?
And the shift this year, just going into 2026,
Yeah.
there is a huge shift happening right now. So hearing shift, 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 it's
Yeah. But the question then becomes, who do I want to be in 2026 that I maybe wasn't in 2025? What else is possible for me next year? I've done this and I've done it this way. What can I do over here? And this is our, future tracking, and it's folding the paper and connecting the dots. Start now so that when January rolls around, energy is already being laid down at a foundational.
yes, yes, yes. As you were just speaking all this, I know it, I wanted to also touch base on your definition of the woman in the red. And I had talked about this woman, the icon, the woman that walks in the grocery store and struts, and she's in her confidence, she's in her icon. I love how you describe that, and I'd like to kind of
It's there's a difference in the way a woman enters a room. So
yeah.
we've all been in rooms where we're talking with people and we turn around and say, oh, whoever, has Susan turned up yet? And you're looking around and you didn't even notice that she'd walked in the room and she'd been there for half an hour. And but then we've also been in rooms where someone has just walked in the door and everyone's head turns and we go, she's just arrived. Who's that? Right. And it's the difference in how you embody your energy. So you can walk in, we can call it confidence, we can call it knowing who we are, knowing
Mm,
why we're even walking into the room. But when we walk in grounded and anchored in ourselves, and we consciously send our energy before us, so we're sending a signal, like a radio signal, we're playing a particular song, and we're sending that in ahead of us, it's announcing our arrival. Everyone in the room shifts into this anticipatory state. Oh, I'm hearing a song playing. Who's coming? And then when we walk in, it's like, ta-da, we're here. But likewise, you've got the other woman who came in earlier who no one noticed. She didn't send a song ahead of time. She walked in with her energy closed and shut down. She's not sure why she's in the room. She probably just, oh, I think I have to be here. This is a networking opportunity. I should be here. I was told I was supposed to show up. Am I wearing the right outfit? I'm not sure. Do I want to talk to anyone? They don't look very friendly. I'd rather be at home with the cat and my laptop, like whatever it is. And she will walk in with her energy so closed down, it is designed to make her invisible. So we have control over our level of visibility by how we send our energy out. So an 8-figure icon is going to know why she's walking into that room. She might not know exactly who is in the room, but she'll know why she's walking in. She knows who she is when she's walking in. She's sending her energy ahead to announce her arrival, to give them a heads up. And she'll walk in grounded and anchored, so at peace with herself that alone is the energetic statement.
mm,
And that becomes very attractive to people in the room, either from people who, I want what she's got, the Harry met Sally moment, right? I want what she's having, or from people who go, that's not my energy, but wow, I want that. And there's a third category, which is people who go, I don't get that. That's a lot for me. And I'm going to go over here and find someone really quiet to talk to in a corner. And probably I'm going to really speak nastily about that person to make myself feel better by comparison. Okay. So there's 3 different kinds of people who'll respond, but the woman walking in, her job is done because she's walked in knowing why she's in the room, knowing the impact she wants to have, knowing the connection she wants to create, and her energy has set all of that up before she even walked in the door.
And this beautiful conversation of stepping into that woman for 2026 and becoming and talking about the shifting.
Your 8-figure icon woman is going to know who she wants to be stepping into 2026. If 2026 is the room, what energy is she sending ahead of her? What is she already setting up so it's in place before she even walks in through the door? So that's the work between now and January for all of your 8-figure icon people.
Yes. Would love any get into the energy with you. Oh, good.
I know we could talk about this for hours. I know.
We could. I know. And I just love it so much. So many really golden nuggets.
Look, I think if there's something I'd like to leave people with who are listening, from the perspective that I see them already as the 8-figure icon, which is that if there is one thing you can do between now and the version of who you want to be, so this is, the 2 dots on the paper connecting them, it's feel into how it feels to be the 8-figure icon. What impact is it having on your physical body? How are you holding yourself? How are you loving yourself through the embodiment of that? Because it's great as a theory. It's a wonderful concept, but can you hold it? Can it be lived truth for you, right? Can it be living truth, alive within all parts of you? So feel into how well it sits. It's not just a set of clothes that you put on. It has to be internalized so deeply that it just becomes a natural part of who you are. So if I'm looking at you as the 8-figure icon that you are, I'm looking to see how deeply it is embedded. How is it with every breath that you speak, the 8-figure icon? How are your thoughts transmitting? How is your energy holding that? How is your heart open to allow others to come into that energetic space with you as well? Where is the invitation? Let's share this together. That's a beautiful piece of work that women can do so brilliantly when they step out of fear.
And we could go into the whole fear and that whole
I know,
we could go
there's so
on and
much.
on and on.
There's so much to talk about. So I will leave you with, on my website, there is something called the library, the Liminal Library. And it has some paid resources as well as some free resources. And I'm actually, over this coming weekend, uploading a series of meditations, which will all be free. So for anyone who's interested, they come and have a little look and check that out. The meditations are designed to ground, anchor as you expand. So it's a really nice.
Let's give it up for Theresa, and how exciting to be dropping all the fire. And yes, make sure to check out her website, and especially these brand new meditations that are coming in, calling in the new year and being able to really ground into the becoming 2026 version of yourself, the 8-figure icon, the iconic self.
Yeah.
What a powerful conversation. And I'm again so honored to have you with us today. And if this episode really resonated with you, we would love for you to take a moment to really reflect on what stood out and share it with somebody who is building something meaningful. If you can find us on Instagram at 8-figure icons, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a conversation that speaks to both businesses and becoming. And if you're an entrepreneur with a story you're ready to share, we'd love to hear from you. Apply to be a guest at 8figureicons.com, because your story isn't just yours, it's someone else's permission to rise. I'll see you on the next show and right here on the Icon Show.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my darling.